where somebody that came fifth on the ballot paper was awarded the governor's seat by the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Very unfortunate.
Very, very.
But let me quickly educate us on one thing about the judiciary. Yes, there is abnormally, or let me use the word, corruption within the judiciary. But let me tell you that majority of the justices are upright, but they are not hard. Majority of the justices are courageous enough to take bold decisions. Now, there is this issue of assignment of cases. The CJ assigns cases to the justices. I will stop at that. I wouldn't go beyond that. But let me equally say that in appointment of heads of judiciary, let us note this. That was why I wanted to talk about it. It's not done on political basis. The most senior takes over. The moment the other one retires, whoever is next in seniority takes over. If the person now is adjudicating rightly or wrongly, that is another issue for another day. Now, having said that, you see, I've listened to all the speakers and I've listened to your question. The reforms we need, for instance, in the judiciary, the best and most famous reform is to draw your money first line. Because the Marxists, they said, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Now, if the Constitution is talking about separation of power, and what is being practiced is like robbing Peter to pay Paul, then there's a problem. Because if the judiciary is independent, legislature independent, then their money must come from first line, not through the executive. The moment the executive is the one determining what goes on financially, you are tying the hands of the judiciary. That was why one of the popular jurists we had in this country made a statement once in court when he was given judgment. He said, "My hands are tied." Now, I'll keep that. I want us to understand something, that we can't be talking about reforming the judiciary, like I said, without reforming how they get their allocation. Number two, without a process of where judgment is not given in line to procedures, there should be a punitive measure. If you do that, there will be deterrence. Now, the third one, like I always tell people, is that the Constitution always gives room for some lacunas. The judiciary you see today, some of the things happening is that they are underfunded. Do you know that up to now, our judiciary in Nigeria is still writing longhand? When we say longhand within the legal palace, we are talking about taking notes in courts, where others are using stenograph and whatever thing. Our justices are still writing longhand, stressing them. At times, somebody might forget writing something. I've come across situations where you might be saying, "My Lord, but I said this in the course of this," but it's not there, reflected in the records. That man is human. So these are the kind of things we must do. And then another key way to restructure or to help the judiciary is the National Judicial Commission. The NJC must be strong and bold to talk. But again, you have a problem there. Who is the chairman? The chairman is the CJN. Either the CJN of the Federation, when it comes to the state, is the CJ of the state. So it depends on where the leaning are. Because like we were talking about River State, and we were talking about Section 305 of the Constitution, talking about the state of emergency. Sorry to say, with all due respect, what the government did not meet the standard of the criteria in Section 305. Because just one bomb somewhere that did not stop the economy. There was no disorder of public interest. There was just no disorder of governance. It did not meet the criteria. Sorry to say this. And when we talk about that reverse own, sorry I'm digressing a little because I will still come back. Section 168, subsection 1G says the moment you are elected under a political party and you defect to another, you automatically lose your seat. So let's not forget the fact that those people lost their seats. So we shouldn't be saying whether they sat or they could not sit. They are not supposed to be there. So those who did not defect are the real members. That's the law. But why is it that we could not implement? Reason, simple. Control of state coercive force is not with the state governors. Our governors are only called security officers by mouth, on paper. So if we really want to stem all these things and help the judiciary, help the police, help the security, we must do a serious reform on the Constitution whereby the governor can have control on his security. The president has his own powers. The president, I'm not saying that he has no power to declare a state of emergency. He has. But those areas, thank God, the learned justice here made reference to it, that there are criteria. And I think with serious, how do I put it? I think with seriousness to what he said, he was even making reference of that section 305. Some of those criteria, you know, he spoke like the justice he is. He was speaking, but tongue in check. There are certain things that were not met.
Thank you very much.
Are you getting it? So judicial reform, number one, we have to help our justices. If you go by the professional ethics in your law school, justices, because it's the same training, so you choose to either be a judge or to sit on the bench or to sit at the bar. Now, a justice is immune from the public. He's not supposed to mingle with people by my professional ethics, as taught by Adoronke, the late. You are, you see, going to all these ceremonies and things like this because somebody could be there to corrupt you. Somebody could be there to harm you. Now, but our justices, some of them, it's unfortunate that somebody like Wike is trying to build accommodation for them. But because there is neglect, he's only seizing the loophole that is made available to go in. And if such a man gives you a house, please, let's be sincere, and he comes with a matter before you, what will be your adjudication? Yes. Because he that pays the piper dictates the tune. So, you see, the judiciary, like I said, they are neglected. Do you know that at times when you enter the court, in the process of doing your cases, you will see a judge asking his clerks, please, check if there's any paper in the office. Please, let's be sincere. Let's be serious to ourselves. These judges are supposed to be having, do you know that their wig and gown, every year you are supposed to give them money to buy a new one? Do we do it? No.
Do they buy for themselves?
Yes, some of them, or they use the old one. Some of them, you need to go to some offices, you see one chair having 3/4 leg. Instead of full 4 legs, it has 3/4. Some of them, the offices, the AC are not working. In most of our courts, in Abuja here, you go in there, there are some courts that these days, if they tell you I'm going to that court, honestly, I get afraid because there will be heat.
How much is the salary?
Are you getting it? Now, what you are supposed to make comfortable for these justices, you are not making it comfortable. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Now, an example is the CJ of the Gambian. Let me use the language I was taught in school. The former CJ of the Gambian, as he then was, because he's no more in Gambia, now he's in Nigeria. Praise the Lord. Thank you very much. Now, this gentleman, haven't been a judge. If we know what we are doing, he's supposed to have security protection all around. But look at it, he's here, exposing his life to danger. Now, how do you take care of his welfare at home? Maybe since he left, you've not even given him what he's entitled to. And that is why some of them, when they look at it, they say, okay, oh boy, this one, where don't they do justice for long now? Wait till you carry go home when you don't retire. I better make a collect something for my family. But like I told you, majority of our justices, honestly, they are upright. I'm not saying it because it's here, but I'm saying it because we know what they can do and they cannot do. A lot of them. I remember Buhari was a military head of state. Justice Candido in Lagos gave judgment against that government. And when they refused to abide by it, thinking they could manipulate, the Nigerian Bar Association went on a strike. And everything was corrected. But again, the interference we're talking about, the executive interferes in almost everything. And sorry to tell you this, in case you don't know, even the election of the Nigeria Bar Association, the security, the executive gets involved so that they can manipulate and control everybody. It did not start with the present administration. It did not start with them.
Interesting, sir. We appreciate that contribution. Thank you very much for expounding on that. And I can see some contrast between what he said on that state of emergency and yours. He said he spoke with tongue in check. That's a beautiful one. An elder is always an elder.
His position is something honorable.
Thank you. Now, I'm coming back to you, sir. Honorable Justice. Please, concerning the future of federalism in Nigeria under this current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I'd like you to sum up what are the futures of a true federalism and how this Tinubu's administration has made, if any, measurable progress in that direction. Thank you, sir.
Well, I will say, you see, whether you like an administration, yes or no, there are good sides and there are bad sides. You see, when he was talking about the tax reform, if you look deeply into this tax reform, it's something that will make our governors to sit up. And to me, it is right. We don't just sit down at all times and be expecting the federal government to feed us and feed us and feed us. When are we going to grow? So when he was talking about that one and the issue of VAT, though there were cries here and there as to the issue of VAT, which I think the government later corrected. Because if, for instance, MTN is in Abuja, you don't pay, you don't give the VAT to where the headquarters is. Those in Abuja should equally enjoy, those in other states. And I think that issue has been taken care of. So, in terms of operating a federalism in the present administration, I will tell you they are taking some steps which are positive.
Interesting.
There might be one or two hitches and negativity here.
And
which
drawbacks.
which you must expect from every government. You see, the truth is, the president, when we look at him, the president is doing certain things and getting away with it. Reason because, one, it's not just the National Assembly condoning it only, but the governors are equally involved doing that rascality. And until we correct the whole thing about governance, not just one man. Because when you'll be blaming just the president, okay, what if we make reform there? What happened to the National Assembly? Now, what happens to our governors? Do you know that a governor sits down, he tells you that local government is dissolved. An elected man, you are telling him it's dissolved. Why? Because the Constitution has lacunas.
Interesting.
Section 7, Section 8 gave the governor and the House of Assembly powers to dissolve them or to regulate how they are run. Why? Why? There should be a tenure for them. Is it 3 years? Is it 4 years? In some states, you hear 2 years. In some states, okay, do you know that there is nothing in our Constitution like caretaker? There's nothing, and the court has made that pronouncement before, nothing like caretaker.
Yet it has always been used.
It has always been used. So where's the federalism? We can have it. So until we go back to the law, yes, the Constitution can never be perfect. Even America, that is 249 years ago, now in democracy, because it was founded in 1776, America cannot boast of a perfect constitution. Each time you move on, you amend. Each time you move on, you amend. That is what we should be doing. But yes, we must rise and fall because we are starting again after a military. No, let me say a military imbibed attitude. So the democracy must have staggering development. But what we need to do is to check all those areas that will help us in our Constitution and amend it very fast.
Interesting.
Now, the first thing to do is the power of the people. If the people have the power, like what happened, if the people are shouting and saying, no, Mr. President, you are wrong, he must sit up and go back. He will retrace. No, Mr. Governor, you are wrong, they will sit up and go back. No, Mr. Justice, you are wrong, they will sit up. So the judiciary agreed that there are judgments that have been very, very disappointing. But that blame alone should not go to the judiciary.
Alone.
Like what happened when we said there was a sting operation under Buhari. Was there a sting operation under for ministers? Was there a sting operation for legislators? No. But because the plan was not just a sting operation, but to rubbish the judiciary and bring them under control. Yes, beat them into line. So what I'm saying is that federalism still have a future in Nigeria.
Okay.
Because I am somebody that no matter how bad Nigeria is going to be, quote me, I have belief in this country. Because I don't have any other country than Nigeria.
We must make it work.
No matter how rich you are, if you get to another country, you are a second-class citizen. Let's take the case of Farah, the Egyptian rich man, who was in London there, the owner of Harrods stores. So rich, the one that the son was alleged to have gone out with Princess Diana. In spite of how the guy was there, do you know that they refused to give him some absolute citizenship? Just when they were about to give him, because of the story of his son going out with Lady Diana, they withdrew the whole thing. So if I leave my country, I cannot live here where I can enjoy to go and be a third-class citizen elsewhere. So I have hope in federalism. I have hope in Nigeria. But like I said, our Constitution is the first place.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Will you pass the mic to Chief Justice of the Gambia? Thank you very much, sir. Let us speak again from your wealth of knowledge, and briefly, please. This is concerning what constitutional amendments are needed to strengthen state structures and autonomy. And of course, how can local governments be empowered under Nigeria's current federal structure? Still talking about federalism.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate my co-panelists.
Submission.
Their comments have been very deep and thoughtful. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir.
Your question follows quickly after the last speaker.
Yeah.
But before I go to him, I don't want to forget one or two things, so please forgive me. I believe strongly in Nigeria because Nigeria, I think, is one of the best countries in the world. And I say this honestly with all humility and with deep sense of appreciation to God. I've traveled around the world, and I can compare what they have with what we have. So the best place to be actually is Nigeria.
Interesting.
You have everything that can make a people great, that can make a nation great. And if anybody is telling you the conspiracy against Nigeria, it is because they understand our potentials that we can immediately become the leaders of the world. And so they don't want that leadership, so they hem it down. It's for us to rise up, know our strength and weakness, and forward a plan that can help us to be number one in the world. When we were here last year, I made a suggestion. I said Nigeria desperately needs a National Development Commission. I am not talking of a Ministry of National Development, because the ministry is headed by a minister. That minister belongs to the current political government. And when he goes away with whatever he likes and what he doesn't like. A National Development Commission that is very independent, where every shade and opinion of what we need, what we think can help Nigeria grow, we can forward it there. And so whoever is in government, they can take from there and do whatever they want to do for their period. When next you come, you follow on. There should be nothing like abandoned project. There should be nothing like I don't want this one. If we say road from Lagos to Maduguri and my government can do it up to Ilorin, when you come, move from Ilorin to Jeba. When another one come, move from Jeba to Abuja. The next one, let it be from Abuja to Kano. Then that 10 lane, that 20 lane will be there. Maglev train will do the same thing. Waterways will do the same thing. Airlines will do the same thing. It is not whether this party likes it or not. That is a national development plan. That's what we need. But between last year and now, I've not had any agitation about it. And that's where we need our media, our NGOs to collaborate with public education, public orientation, so that we can make our demands.
Interesting.
Please let me tell us something. I always believe in the way forward. If you understand Nigeria and Nigerians, we will know where to stand. There are two forces in this country. Our own, their own. Believe you me, the National Assembly and the executive, the legislature and the executive, it belongs to the group I call their own. When you are there, you are a different person. You're only protecting your own interest, our interest. When you are not there, you belong to the group I call our own. So we can only look after our own interest. And that our own interest is only protected by the third arm of government, the judiciary. That is why they say judiciary is the hope of the common man. The executive will do only what they want to do, what they can do for you. They won't give you contract if the money is too big. They won't pay you salary if the salary is too fat. They will give it to themselves because it is their own. My brother said the selection of the Senate president had a lot of executive involvement. Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry, my brother. If I know you have the power to remove me, will I ignore that seat? The only person who is an inroad into the presidency, who can dismantle that place, is the office of the Senate. They are the only one who can undermine that place. They are the only one who can contain the president. So why will I allow you to be my enemy? If you see them running around to have influence in judiciary, it's because they know that the judiciary have what we call supervisory powers over executive works. They can declare it or traverse the laws of the National Assembly. They can declare executive actions or traverse. They can say they are wrong. They can say stop. They are the weakest, but their mouth, their pen is the strongest. And all over the world, you touch a judiciary man, you touch a media man, you are looking for trouble. Because they have international backing. Because they speak for the common man. They represent the interests of the common man. And that is the reason why the next thing we need is in one of our papers. We need that specialized office for the appointment of judicial officers. When you have people who can be appointed into that judicial office and that commission is independent and they are so protected, then whether they rule against you or they don't rule against you, see, they are immune, they are protected for life. And if they themselves, like my brother said, can be removed, can be disciplined, can be penalized, can be removed, they will be very careful. Because you, the executive or legislature, cannot remove them. You can't tamper with their salary once they are in. You can't tamper with their budget. So when they say yes, they say yes. When they say no, they say no. Then when you have that supervisory office that manages their appointment, that manages their promotion, that manages their welfare, that manages their retirement, that manages their discipline, devoid of executive or legislative interference, they will sit up. What is the current situation? The NJC is headed by the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He's a member of the Federal Judicial Service Commission who employs and recommends for employment. And then the executive say yes. Then he's the chairman of the NJC, National Judicial Commission, who supervises, who disciplines, who promotes the judges. So if you are under him and you have different opinion contrary to his own, you are toying with your career. Mm. And you see inside the same constitution, the moment you are appointed as a judge of the Superior Court and you lose that job, you can't practice as a lawyer again. So what do you want to become? Oh, is there?
Justice.
So,
sorry, in any case, what is your advice now, Dr. Professor? I'm told we have just 2 more minutes to go.
Okay, sir. My advice, like I said, is that we need the office of a National Judicial Office employment that be independent and strong. We need to be strong institutions. That's what I'm saying. Because we have 2 minutes, let's move on to other one. I'll give you paper to add to your value.
Good.
Now, when you look at Section 7 of the Constitution, it provides for local government. Everything you need is by local government. Why are we afraid to enforce it? In recent times, the only government that has tried, I think the last government also tried to enforce it though, the government of President Buhari. The current government has done more in ensuring that at least local government can be independent. Why are the governors resisting local government independence? Why? Now, here is the problem. And that's why I say we need to understand where we are. Nigeria is a federated federal government. The definition of federal government in Nigeria does not mean the definition of federal governments in the world. We are different. We are special. We are specially created. So for us to grow and develop, we should follow through that special nature that we have. So the federal government is there to manage all the differences that we have. The state governments are there to manage all the differences in their state government. Let the local government survive. Force it through their throat. So that local government can manage what is within their own peculiar. Then, for way forward, sir, go through the schedule to the government that deal with exclusive list, concurrent list, and the residual list. Just make it 3. Clean. The first thing is for the federal, the next one is for the state, the next one is for the local government. Then anybody who is interested in any of the 3, you can go ahead and do. So you can manage your own affairs, you have the funds, and you can move on. That way, we can know where and how to hold everybody accountable. The last thing I want to say because of the 2 minutes, sir. My brother mentioned Wike building houses for judges. And I think you mentioned one other thing. You see, the INEC Secretary, thank you very much. The issue is this. Let's not forget that FCT is a federal territory. And by everything we have been saying so far, whether by law, by constitution, or by the judgment of the courts, FCT is like a state. So, Wike is like a governor. Although accountable to the president. The National Assembly is his legislature. So, when you have a court of appeal inside Abuja, he has nothing other than to build houses for them. Because the law covers it. You understand, sir? Now, if he's building house for INEC, INEC has his federal headquarters inside Abuja. If the federal government is not doing and is doing, you can't stop him. The issue is, somebody here mentioned the issue of neglect, which is the main issue. If they are not neglected, the space will not be there. These are the temptations we are talking about. So there will be nothing to exploit. But when the temptations are there, if you are hungry, sir, and you have not eaten for 3 days and you are about dying, and they say that I am your great-grandfather's enemy up to you, and the only thing to survive is the food on my table, won't you take that food? You want to survive first before you begin to look at where you belong and what you should use or not to not take. So Nigeria is too open to a lot of temptations. If you want to make argument now, you say the Chief Justice of Nigeria is from Lagos State, the President is from Lagos State. That woman joined judiciary how many years ago with the High Court? Then Court of Appeal, then Speaker, I walk all over Nigeria. They didn't even know whether President Tinubu will become a governor. Talk less of a president when he joined judiciary. But by some coincidence, the 2 of them are there. So anything that comes there, say, how can you get the best? They are from the same place now. But they are actually not there because they work it out that way. That is a coincidence. The issue is, are we looking at issues on the merit? Are we dissecting issues on the merit? Finally, sir, I need to allow you to go. I think that in the best interest of Nigeria, we need over We need a system to oversee the functions of our public officers and the public institutions that we have created. Believe you me, members of the National Judicial Council should never be serving judges. Whether the Chief Justice, President of the Court of Appeal, President of the Federal Court, or serving justices, CJs of states. The only people that are not serving are those 5 members that are called retired justices of the Supreme Court or Court of Appeal. The 2 lawyers that are supposed to be there, who even are only to be there when you want to appoint judges, and then the 2 members nominated by the president to represent his interests. Those are the only people who are not serving. Every other person are serving judges. So how can you be a judge in your own case? How can you treat a complaint seriously when the person complaining is working under you?
Question.
How will it ever work? So we need to bring strong institutions, independent institutions that will look after our well-being, our welfare on a long-term basis. We need to be honest with ourselves. We need to be pragmatic. You can't say it and die there. But whatever legacies you leave behind will overlive you. Your children's children will benefit from it. Nigeria as a whole will benefit from it. That's the only way to build a vibrant, virile Nigeria. May God help all of us.
Amen.
National Development Office, Judicial Appointment Commission, and all the other things. Those are the recommendations, sir. May God bless you. And let the local government system work.
Thank you very much. I believe as we stream, the authorities in charge are listening to this, as we prefer this as our own best solutions to help them govern well. That is just the essence of this. I thank you, gentlemen, for being on the panel list to do justice to this very matter we did today. And I implore you all to please continue to do this in the interest of this democracy of ours, to deepen it. Okay. Sorry, I saw one of the people as guests here trying to ask questions. Please, you are open. The floor is open for you to ask 1 or 2 questions before we let these 3 gentlemen slip off the stage. Are there any questions from the public, from the audience? Observations, questions, submissions? There's a 3rd microphone there now, you can use it.
Thank you, the moderator, and let me join you in congratulating this very formidable panel of discussants. We actually enjoyed what you have said. But I want to ask, why is the Nigerian judicial system not having juries? Is it possible for our own judicial system to have jury? That's my question.
That's a technical question.
Yes. Okay. Before I pass it to...
I'd like both of you to touch in less than a minute, please.
Yes. You see, we practice accusatorial system of justice here, where somebody is accused. We are not talking about the juror system. Yes, the juror system is there, but it's peculiar to America and some places. But we are not. But it is possible to do it. But there must be reforms, because in our constitution there's nothing like a juror system. But let me give it.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, sir, for the question. The beauty of the jury system, for those who may not understand, is that you have the judge, you have the lawyer who is prosecuting, you have the lawyer who is defending and their groups, you have the witnesses. You now have a group of people, mostly, many times, either they are 10 or 12, who are picked from the rank of the accused person, from his situation in life, who are public members to watch over the evidence led against him and to decide whether on what they are heard, the allegation is either true or not true. They are people to discuss on the fact. The judge is still there to discuss on the law. And whatever they say, then the judge goes ahead. The reason why we cannot have it in Nigeria, the reasons put forward, is that it is very expensive and it's very cumbersome.
Not cost effective.
Expensive in that you have 12 people there, you have to pay them. Number 2, well, you have 12 people who are going to watch. And if at any time you discover that, I think the 3rd one is that they are open to public influence. That's the 3rd one. So if any of them you notice, anybody have access to them, and they are likely to have influence on the proceedings, you have to dismiss them, appoint a new one, and start all over again.
You mean dismiss the entire 12?
The entire 12, yes, and start all over again. Nigeria has a peculiar problem when it comes to delay of cases. We were discussing some of this issue yesterday, and I told them I wish that the judiciary is bold enough that when it comes to election matters, let them go through the same system like you and me go through when we have court cases. If you are elected, somebody challenging you, the case is not going to finish 10 or 15 years, so be it now. Let's face it together. But you want to treat their cases fast. Then your own cases among cases are suffering 5, 10, 8, 20 years. Why? They are the one to change the law. They are the one to make people available, more courtrooms available, more lawyer judges available, more panel available, more workers available. They are not making it available. So why are they benefiting more than others? Let everybody go to the, why are we having two classes of citizens? It's possible, sir. But these are the reasons put forward. But with all the money available in Nigeria, what are we doing with our money? It's an employment opportunity. It's training opportunity. It guarantees more justice delivery. So why don't you put up the positive sides? Why will our media, NGO not advocate for it and put it forward? Why will lawyers not support it? You understand? Why would the judiciary itself not support it? If they are overwhelmed with work, and the only way to decentralize work to create all these options and opportunities, why not? There's nothing wrong with it. But if America can practice it, if Britain can practice it, why not Nigeria? So, but whatever it is left for law reform, is left for opinion agitation, is left for all of us to be able to say yes. Like my brother said the other time, if you have a people who can challenge what you are doing, or who can make effective demand, and if you don't do it, you know you cannot sleep, then there's going to be a change. I think the Nigerian populace has an issue.
Interesting.
Margaret Thatcher, she said, if she's coming to this world again, she would prefer to come as a Nigerian. And they ask her why. Say because Nigerians don't take their leaders to task. So you can easily do whatever you like.
Interesting. Interesting.
If the leaders are doing what they are doing and they are getting away with it, it's because nobody challenges them. Effective demand for your right, for your privileges. Then they will now know that they are there truly as public servants. But when somebody says, I must be your servant by force, and is there, then the servant is no longer the servant, but the boss. The British came, colonial masters came, they make laws to protect themselves. They establish courts to protect themselves. They engage people to work in the civil service for themselves. We carry it over, we are not changing it. So now we have local bosses that are just like them. Or even because they know our strengths and weaknesses more, and they can even do things with impunity more than them. So they are riding roughshod. So why is it continuing? So actually, according to Julius Caesar, he said the fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. The fault is in ourselves. The people that are being led. Let us learn how to make effective demand from our leaders so that they learn to sit up and serve us. They are for public service.
A round of applause for this submission, please. A beautiful round of applause for them. Yes, we will take one more from the audience, please. We will take one more. Please, the mic. No, there's a mic. Okay. Take the microphone. Who is the second hand up? Okay, fine. We'll still give opportunity for you.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to say, first of all, that democracy is about distribution of resources. For as long as that is understood, then you will know how our own democracy is working. Now, coming to the judiciary, all the reforms that we need have been done in the past. Why are they under lock and key? The judge knows that so many, panels have been put together, to do reforms. I don't know whether there was Justice Shaw, there was Justice Uwais, and so many of them like that. I've been a journalist since 1978, so I have been following up these things, and I've been attending things like this. This is what we say every year. Every year we discuss these things. Nothing happens. So, like he said, the people must put to task their leaders.
Exactly.
And that's the only way. And I'm happy that this Democracy Week is addressing those issues, especially concerning media, the civil societies, and labor. That's our own that is coming up. That's why I was telling them to drive you away from there so that we can come in and do our own. So people blame the judiciary. I want the judge to address this one. One senior advocate said something about a year or so ago. He said, when justices, or judges give a verdict on any issue, they look at the law, but the people, base their own assessment on sentiment. not on the letters and principles of the law. So when we say, certain judgments don't please us, how did we go there? How did the lawyers argue their cases? Those are the issues that we should look at. Not that the judges are bad. The judges went to school, the same, law schools that everybody went to. So why would they treat anything differently? It is because of the issues around, this whole thing. That is the way I look at it. Judges are good. They do their job. There's nothing wrong with them. They are the only ones we can even look up to, not the legislature, not the press,
Executive.
the executive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So we take that as a submission, sir. Before you pass the mic, may we know your name, sir? Exactly. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I want to just say something about what he said. Just like I said today, there are good justices and bold ones. They are in the majority. Why I don't want him to talk about it, because if he talks about it, somebody might think because he's involved. Let me equally say that we lawyers, some of us contribute to their failure in court. Where a lawyer does not make much research, maybe you go on partying all night, and they just come back in the morning, you carry your file, you go to the court, and the man there is thinking that because of what he has to win the case. And you present a bad case without going through, because in every case, there are ingredients, especially if it's a criminal case, there are ingredients of the offense. And now you don't know how to marshal this thing and argue it well. You don't expect the judge to be sympathetic. You might have a good case, but what was your nature of presentation? But you see, the man outside might not know that somebody presented the wrong case. And then the next thing, it falls on the judge. He has a backlash. People now accusing him of being biased and this. Let me just quickly say this last word. A lot of people don't know that if your lawyer gives you the wrong advice or he does the wrong thing, you have the right to sue him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. A round of applause for that. Thank you very much, sir. You would like to add to that, sir?
Yes. I want to appeal to my brother judges. I went to the system after being a trained teacher. There is a large gap even between student lawyers and other professions. If they would take the pain of a teacher to educate in their judgments, how they get to their decisions, people will easily understand why a case succeed or fail. Because as the lawyer said, if the lawyer has not done all his own homework, it handicaps the judge. But honestly, that is not a good excuse for the judge, because the thing stops at his table. He still has to do his own job. But he will apply the facts to the law, and the evidence given to him, he will use it to assess the strength or quality of the case to know where he's going. So in elaborating on all he has found, when you are reading the judgment, you understand what has gone wrong. Right now, because I try to monitor things, I monitor the Trump federating federal guard in I think California or what. Immediately they delivered the judgment, I had a copy. I went through it, and I could understand, almost like this River State thing we're talking about. The judges said the thing doesn't have to degenerate to a level where the whole world knows it is bad before you intervene. That's the summary of the judge. I have it. I'll give to you to give to members of the public. So education is very important. The NGOs, the media, they should help us to educate our people so that we can know how judges come to their decisions. There is nothing wrong in dissecting a judgment after it has been delivered, so that people can know better because of then and the future. It strengthens everybody, especially when we say that they are our own, and we should learn how they think, how they work, so that we can also know how to protect them, protect their interests, support their work. May God help everybody.
Thank you very much, sir. At this junction, there's a last man there.
Yes. I greet you, the moderator, and then the panel of justice. You have done a lot. We appreciate you. And I wish the federal government will work on what the people have just discussed about.
They are listening.
I think the only way, I like what the two learned people said, and the man in the center who is lawyer also by proxy. Yes.
Lawyer by nature.
By association.
By association. Sorry, please. You see, the last hope we have is for the common man is the judiciary, like we said. But when you look at it, I think we have one of the best judges on earth and the best lawyers, Nigeria. If you follow from Justice Elias and the rest of them up to today, each time our justice goes out to serve other countries in Africa and even in Caribbean states, they come out with good reports and awards. Please go, you discover that. Sir, I'm sorry, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't agree with the Justice West panel. Because why? He was a Chief Justice before of this country, and you don't expect him to come against his colleagues. Let's be sincere to ourselves. So if what the government should do today is to set up another panel for judicial service reforms, and they should pick judges from the customary court in the states, High Court Justice, and then Federal Court Justice. Don't pick anybody from the Appeal Court or Supreme Court at all. Look for retired justice. Let them come with lawyers, private lawyers, legal practitioners. Let them come, sit down and brainstorm and set up recommendations. These people are independent because these people working, the retired justice know what they've passed through. Like the justice here who served in Gambia, he knows what they have passed through from Nigeria and outside the country. Then they can now sit down and compare and contrast with other countries. How do we move forward? Because if you look at it, I'm sorry. Because I'm a judge in this appeal court, I'll go and bring my son. I recommend him to go to become a federal high court judge. Not on merit. So please, I think this recommendation, you should do something about it. That is the only way the common man can go to jail. Because today, like me as per se, I cannot waste my time going to court. No, that's the truth. I cannot waste my time going to federal high court. I can take my justice at the state level, I feel. But if I'm fighting against the state government, I don't go there. Look at what happened during PDP's time. Oshomole's result, I happen to know one of the justices that served there. They came under protection. They said they should bring every ballot paper on every polling unit to them. That was how Oshomole got justice. But when he became governor, he did the other way around. And today he's in the Senate. You think they will legislate laws that will suit you people? No, they will not do that.
Thank you very much. Now, we are seeing a case of somebody who is probably losing faith in the justice system because it's in expectation of the justice reforms. Sir, would you have a thing to reply? Because I do not truly buy the idea of bringing private independent lawyers to come and adjudicate on the cases of chief justices and all that. I believe there's supposed to be a ranking that permits such, that at such rank you do not have right to adjudicate on my case. Or
No, I think
Please
he's
clarify that for us.
he's not talking about adjudication. He's
Okay.
talking about the law reforms. That where you want to make a reform, that you get retired justices, get some practicing lawyers, and get lawyers from the area court level up to state high court level, and then leave those at the federal level because they've seen it all. But I think in doing this, I will advise that even when you are going to set up a panel for all these things that we're talking about, the reforms, one thing we are missing out is that we do forget the lecturers.
who taught them law in the first
that's
place?
the basis of that's the ABCD of the law. Now, when you bring them in, they will bring their academic on there. Then you now bring in the practical side. That is when we'll get it right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. A round of applause to this gentleman. I think so far, so good. We have done very well on this very topic today, and we hope this goes to the ears of the people in government. Gentlemen, I'd like to appreciate you once again for your time and for dipping into your wealth of knowledge. We appreciate you. Sometimes I wonder when we discuss things like this. Somebody once told me that in much wisdom there is much sorrow. How do we sleep at night when we know so much, and yet they are not implementing what we know? I wonder sometimes how we sleep. You know this much, and you see things going wrong, and you can't actually correct them by what you know. So, thank you very much, sir, once again. I appreciate you. Once again, I welcome you all to this place, ladies and gentlemen. Still in the progress of contributing our quota to the deepening of the dividends of democracy. I am honored here to invite the next speaker on the session titled Technology and Governance at Midterm, Evaluating the Impact of Digital Transformation on Democratic Performance under the Tinubu Administration. To do justice to this very paper, we are calling on a seasoned ICT expert, and I am told she's conveniently based in the UK, so we expect to see the better deliverance on this ICT, talking about technology and governance at midterm. Once again, we bring to the podium, the delectable, beautiful Mrs. Brownie Montgomery, the UK-based expert. Thank you very much. A round of applause for her as she proceeds to the table. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for having me here. All protocols observed. I'm here to read out the information technology solutions for our country, Nigeria. For the lead paper, Digital Democracy at Midterm, Evaluating Technological Gains under the Tinubu Administration. Introduction. The digitalization of governance is no longer a futuristic ambition. It is a current imperative. In the 2 years since the inauguration of the Tinubu administration, Nigeria has made modest but meaningful strides in integrating technology into governance processes, policy delivery, and public service engagement. The midterm review provides a critical assessment of the administration's digital democracy agency, measuring its achievements, gaps, and prospects for deeper reform in the years ahead. Number 1, Foundation of Digital Reform 2023 to 2025. Upon assuming office in May 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inherited an economy and governance system facing mounting pressure to modernize economy and governments, recognizing the inefficiencies of analog system. The administration committed to strengthening digital infrastructure, enhancing transparency, and improving citizen government interferences. Though the continued expansion of platforms like NIMC, Digital ID, IPPS, NITDA policies, initiatives, and the development of digital public infrastructure, DPI. Nigeria began laying the groundwork for a more responsive state. Among the most visible gains was the rollout of e-civil service reforms that digitalized records management, introduced biometric attendance in MDAs, and facilitated remote service delivery. The Nigerian Data Protection Commission, NDPC, was established and operationalized, ensuring compliance with the new Data Protection Act, an important milestone in building trust in digital system. Number 2, electoral technology and public participation. The 2023 general elections marked a pivotal moment in Nigeria's digital governance journey. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, displayed PVAs and IREVs technology as an unprecedented scale, Why these tools